Good morning, students. So as we know, I have already compiled and given you the whole notes of the previous chapter. So we look forward to a very interactive session in the Google Meet. So you can put up your questions. You can practice the conversions in the meanwhile. Before you put up your questions, I'll also ask two questions to every individual. So make sure that you revise well the whole chapter before we meet in the Google Meet. So that is very important. And why I'm stressing again and again is because those reactions are the basic reactions and they are very, very important for our coming up chapters. So today we are proceeding on with the topic. So we are doing the method of preparation of phenols, right? But before, we'll just have a brief recap because there was 2 days gap. We did only the notes of haloalkanes and the conversions. So we'll just recap that we have already done the method of preparation of alcohols that we have done. So now we'll proceed on with the method of preparation of phenols. Then we'll move on to the physical properties of alcohol and phenol and the chemical properties. So we'll just start on with the first method, that is from benzene. So when we prepare it from benzene, we start with benzene ring and we do the sulfonation of benzene ring. Now how we do the sulfonation of benzene ring? We do it in the presence of fuming H2SO4, also known as oleum. So when we do this, we have a sulfonic group introduced. Here. So what we'll do, again convert it to salt. So converting it to salt, we will treat it with NaOH solution. So it will become SO3 Na. So this is Na plus and this is O minus. So now this is salt, and what is the name of the salt? This is benzene sulfonic acid and this is sodium. So we can write sodium benzene sulfonate. So we can write the name of the salt. Now you have obtained the salt. Now what to do? We will convert it to phenoxide. So that is done by treating it with NaOH. We fuse it 570 Kelvin. By fusing it, what happens? The SO2 escapes and you get something like this, O minus and Na plus, sodium phenoxide. After sodium phenoxide, this is very, very stable. If you want to get phenol, always we do hydrolysis. So we'll do the hydrolysis for this. Most of the time it is acidic hydrolysis and we get phenol. So the first method in this is quite a long process, but we can get it from benzene, right? So for it is from benzene, convert it to benzene sulfonic acid, a salt, hydrolyze the salt, you get sodium phenoxide. Sodium phenoxide when hydrolyzed gives you phenol. The first method of preparation of phenols. Now coming to the second one. Meanwhile, if you don't feel like writing, you just understand, I'll be posting you the notes. From that notes, you can make a copy and then write that systematically all the reactions. So we'll move on to the second method, that is from benzene diazonium salt. So we'll make the second processes from diazonium salts. So diazonium salts, if you remember, how we made diazonium salts. So this was a very important reaction. If you remember how to make benzene diazonium salts, we discussed in the haloalkane chapter. How we did it, that reaction was very important and it was known as diazotization reaction. So the first step in this is we convert aniline. We take aniline and treat it with nitrous acid. From where we get this nitrous acid, we take it in the presence of NaNO2 and dilute HCl. When they react, we get this 0 to 5 degrees C. Then we get benzene diazonium salt. Now this reaction is very important. Why? Because this reaction can be used as a test to distinguish aromatic amines and aliphatic amines. If you talk, you can see this is a aromatic amine. It is giving you diazonium salt. But instead of this, if we take a aliphatic amine, instead of a diazonium salt, in the end you will be getting a alcohol. So that is very important. So this is a test also, and this part is known as diazotization. Now this diazonium salt is very unstable. It can dissociate further to give you many more other products. So if you hydrolyze it in the presence of dilute H2SO4, if we hydrolyze it, then we can again get this. We'll be getting phenol. This will go out as nitrogen gas plus HCl. The Cl will come from here and hydrogen ion from here. So this is the second method. In this also two parts. The first part is known as diazotization, that we have studied earlier also. From this, if you do Sandmeyer will give you haloarenes. But here we are just hydrolyzing it and we are getting phenol. So this is the second method of preparation of phenols. We are coming to the third one. Sorry, I'm just having cough and cold. So by decarboxylation of salicylic acid. By decarboxylation of salicylic acid. Now what is salicylic acid? A benzene ring with OH and COOH. This is salicylic acid. So we have a salicylic acid group is with phenol and acid group simultaneously. Now if you treat it with sodium, so this will get converted to a salt. So the salt is OH, COO, Na. The salt is known as sodium salicylate. Now we'll be using this sodium salicylate and we will be doing decarboxylation reaction. If you remember what is decarboxylation reaction, it was done in the case of alkanes, and what we mean by that, we treat the alkane with the help of soda lime. Now what is soda lime? The soda lime is a mixture of calcium oxide and NaOH in the ratio of 3:1. तो हमने पहले भी पढ़ा था 11th में, एल्केन्स को अगर हम डीकार्बोक्सिलेट कराएं तो एक कार्बन उसका कम हो जाता है, एंड दैट रिएक्शन वाज नोन एज Kolbe's reaction, Kolbe's decarboxylation reaction. So this, when treated with decarboxylation, this goes out, minus Na2CO3. So you'll be getting, and substitution by sodium, so you get a phenoxide, O minus Na plus. We call it as sodium phenoxide. Now this is very important. Whenever you get sodium phenoxide, it is very easy to again get phenol. How? We will simply do acidic hydrolysis. So simply do acidic hydrolysis. You get phenol. So very convenient and easy method to prepare phenol. So starting from salicylic acid, we get sodium salicylate, and decarboxylation gives you phenoxide, and from the phenoxide you will be getting phenol. So the third method of preparation. This is not second, this is third. Sorry. The fourth one would be from Grignard reagent. Now what is a Grignard reagent? If you remember, the Grignard reagent can be written as RMgX, isn't it? So we can write RMgX as Grignard reagent. So instead of this R, we can take a aromatic Grignard reagent, MgBr. Say for instance we are taking a aromatic Grignard reagent, treat it with oxygen, you will be getting a transition product like OMgBr. We are going to get a transition product. Whenever you have a transition product, it is very easy to convert it to phenol. Just do the acidic hydrolysis. Acidic hydrolysis, you will be getting phenol plus the byproduct. So this is from Grignard reagent. So we discussed 4 methods of preparing phenols. The first was from benzene. The second one is from benzene diazonium salt. The third one is from decarboxylation of salicylic acid or salicylate salt. And the fourth one is from Grignard reagent. So these are the 4 important preparation of phenols. We are moving on to the commercial method of preparing phenol. So there are 2 methods. So commercial method of preparing phenol. So the first one we have already done, if you can recall. There was one reaction that was known as Dow's process, and that was used in nucleophilic substitution of haloarenes. That was the only one reaction in nucleophilic substitution, if you remember. Just recall, in haloarenes we studied nucleophilic substitution, we studied elimination reaction, we studied reaction with metals. So in substitution reactions, in the ring, there was only one reaction, and that was Dow's process. So this reaction is used for the preparation of phenol. How we make it? We take chlorobenzene when treated with NaOH, and because it will react with under very drastic conditions, because it doesn't do substitution very easily, we do the reaction at 623 Kelvin and 300 atmospheric pressure. First convert it to sodium phenoxide. Again do acidic hydrolysis and we get phenol. So this is how we convert chlorobenzene to phenol, and the process is known as Dow's process. It is used to make phenol on a commercial scale. On a very large quantity, if you want to produce, you will be utilizing it, Dow's process for that. And then the second process, which is also very important, is from cumene. Now we'll discuss what is cumene. From cumene. Cumene is CH3. So we'll be doing substitution of this on benzene ring. So it will give you isopropyl benzene addition on this. So it will give you a product like this, a benzene ring with the isopropyl group. So you have made isopropyl benzene. When you oxidize this, we get a peroxo linkage here. So we will get a peroxo linkage here. CH3, CH3, OOH. So I've got a peroxo linkage. If again this is heated or hydrolyzed with dilute HCl, you will get this group coming on this OH and this group would be removed. So you get as a byproduct acetone. You get byproduct as acetone. So that is very important. This can be any acid. This can be dilute H2SO4. See, the expense is very less and you get 2 byproducts. You get phenol also and you get acetone also. That's the reason why this method is a very important method used in commercial production of phenol. You produce phenol in large quantities. So this reaction is very important. can be asked straight away also, and to write what happens when also. So this reaction is very very important, right? तो बेटा इसके पहले जो रिएक्शन किए थे सब्स्टिट्यूशन न्यूक्लियोफिलिक हैलोएरिन्स में, वो भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. डाइजोटाइजेशन रिएक्शन विल कीप कमिंग इन ऑल द चैप्टर्स. So these reactions are very very important. So now we are done with 6 method of preparation of phenols, and they are the only ones. Now we'll move on to physical properties of alcohol and phenol. So we'll just see that. So we'll move on to physical properties. When we talk of physical properties, the first thing is state. The physical state. So talking of physical state, the smaller ones, the smaller alcohols, they are always gases. The moderate ones are liquids, and the bigger ones are solid in nature. So we'll just talk about, the first is physical state. Nothing very important to write. The second is melting point and boiling point. So there is a general rule. The boiling point depends on the surface area. Larger the surface area, greater the boiling point. So the first thing is, the larger molecule of alcohols have higher boiling point, have higher BP. The second thing, which is general, the second thing is for isomeric alcohols. If you talk isomeric alcohols with increase in side chains, we say the surface area tends to decrease. So whenever the surface area tends to decrease, the boiling point will automatically decrease. So for any isomeric alkane, the boiling point will always decrease with branching. So if you have 2-3 alcohols like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon, and one alcohol is like this, 3, 4 and 5. See, you can see there are 2 side branches here. So the surface area is less. So we say the boiling point for this would be more. So for isomeric alcohol, the boiling point will decrease. It will decrease with branching. No need to write all this, because I'll be summarizing the chapter and giving it to you, so you can see better and write in a very compiled manner. So nothing to worry about, just understand first and keep revising the concept again and again. So this was all about melting point and boiling point. And one thing more which is important is the alcohol molecules, they have very strong intermolecular hydrogen bonding. If you see an alcohol molecule, you will see it is like this, R, O and H, delta positive, delta negative. If another alcohol molecule is there, delta positive, delta negative. So what you will realize, this hydrogen will be hydrogen bonded. So all the alcohol molecules are associated molecules because of the hydrogen bonding. They are all associated molecules. And that is why the boiling point is higher than any hydrocarbon, any ether, any haloalkane or any haloarine. तो इसीलिए अगर आपको कंपैरिजन आएगा कि बॉइलिंग पॉइंट किसका ज्यादा है, तो जस्ट रिकॉल हाइड्रोकार्बन, हैलोएरीन, हैलोएरीन एंड ईथर, इन सब में सबसे ज्यादा बॉइलिंग पॉइंट अल्कोहल का होता है. एंड द रीजन इज इंटरमोलिक्यूलर हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So I hope you'll remember now, the boiling point of alcohols would be higher than the corresponding hydrocarbons or ethers, etc., etc. And the reason being is, it is because of intermolecular hydrogen bonding. The same is for phenol also. If we make a phenol group, the chain would look like this. If you make a phenol, this is delta H, delta negative, and then phenol O and H, delta positive, delta negative, you can see hydrogen bonding. Again, they are associated. So the boiling point of phenol or alcohol would be higher than the corresponding hydrocarbons. So that is the rule. Then comes the solubility. Talking of solubility, again water has very strong hydrogen bonds, delta plus, delta plus, delta negative. Water is polar, and if you see, alcohol also is like that. Alcohol is delta negative, delta positive. So what will happen? This H plus, I'll make an alcohol here. This H plus will get attracted to this hydrogen bonding. So due to hydrogen bonding in an alcohol molecule, it is very much soluble in water. But what is very important, if you keep increasing the size of R, if I keep increasing the size of R, what will happen? The R is a hydrophobic group. It repels water. So what will happen? The solubility will start decreasing. So the smaller alcohols are very much soluble in water, but the bigger alcohols, due to a hydrophobic group, they are less soluble in water. So that is a general rule for any functional group. So remember that the alcohols are soluble because of the hydrogen bonding. Coming to haloalkanes, when we talk haloalkanes, in that case we saw the bond was partial polar. That means the energy which was released in breaking that bond was not sufficient to establish bonds with water. So haloarenes was insoluble in water. So whenever you study some properties, you have to keep comparing of all the compounds so that you don't confuse and you remember one by one which is soluble, which has highest boiling point, because in boards often and on they ask you the order. Write the ascending order, write the descending order. For that you need to be very clear about the boiling point, the melting point and other properties. So they will never ask you straight questions. They will always ask you write the order. For writing the order, you should be very clear in the concept of boiling point, solubility, melting point, etc. So we'll come to chemical reactions of alcohols now. Chemical reactions, when we say, the reactions can be categorized under three heads. Chemical reactions. So the reactions are of three types. First will be cleavage of this bond, OH bond. The second would be cleavage of CO bond. The third would be the whole molecule as a whole. Now in this case, when you are breaking bond from here, the hydrogen is getting released as H plus and the atom जो पे जुड़ेगा, क्योंकि लोन पेयर पे जुड़ना है, उसमें क्या चार्ज होगा? पॉजिटिव. So in this case, the alcohol molecule is acting as a nucleophile. तो जो आने वाला होगा वो क्या होगा? इलेक्ट्रोफाइल. इस केस में आप यहाँ से तोड़ते हो, ये माइनस निकल गया, इस पे क्या आ गया प्लस, तो ये क्या हो गया? कार्बोकेटाइन, यानी इट इज एक्टिंग एज इलेक्ट्रोफाइल. तो जो आने वाली चीज होगी दैट विल बी अ न्यूक्लियोफाइल. एंड ये जो लास्ट कैटेगरी है रिएक्शन की, इसमें द अल्कोहल मॉलिक्यूल विल रिएक्ट as a whole. So there are basically three categories of reaction that we are going to study, and they will be: first, alcohol behaving as nucleophile; second, alcohol behaving as electrophile; and the third, whole alcohol molecule. So we'll start this, but we'll start it in the next video. Meanwhile, make sure you revise all the previous videos, and for the Google Meet, just make sure revise all the reactions, so that conveniently you can put up your queries and resolve mine also, right? So thank you, and keep revising, keep yourself updated and stay safe. Thank you.